Hello, and welcome to Chapter 5 of our video series on construction law in Malaysia. In this chapter, we will be discussing the implementation of construction contracts, specifically the administration of contracts, employers' obligations, and contractors' obligations. We will be quoting relevant clauses from various sources of Malaysian construction law, including the Construction Industry Payment and Adjudication Act, (SIPA), the Malaysian Standard Form of Contract, MSFC, and the common law. One of the key aspects of implementing a construction contract is the administration of the contract. This involves ensuring that both parties to the contract comply with their obligations and that the project progresses in accordance with the agreed terms. The Construction Industry Payment and Adjudication Act, (SIPA), provides some guidance on this issue. Section 28 of the Act requires parties to comply with the terms of the construction contract and any relevant laws. The employer in a construction contract has a number of obligations to ensure the successful completion of the project. The Malaysian Standard Form of Contract, MSFC, provides some guidance on the employer's obligations. Clause 15 of the MSFC requires the employer to provide the contractor with access to the site and to provide all necessary facilities and services. Clause 17 requires the employer to obtain all necessary permits and approvals for the project. The contractor in a construction contract also has a number of obligations. The MSFC sets out some of these obligations in Clause 21. This includes a requirement for the contractor to carry out the work in accordance with the contract documents, to ensure that the work is of a high standard, and to comply with all applicable laws and regulations. Payment is a key issue in any construction contract. The MSFC sets out a detailed payment regime in Clause 30. This requires the employer to make interim payments to the contractor, based on the value of work completed. It also provides for the retention of a percentage of the contract sum as security for the contractor's performance. Variations to the contract can arise during the course of the project. The MSFC sets out the procedure for dealing with variations in Clause 23. This requires the employer to issue instructions for any variations, and for the contractor to provide a quotation for the cost of the variation. The MSFC also provides for the valuation of variations and for the adjustment of the contract sum and completion date. If either party to the contract fails to comply with their obligations, this can lead to default and termination of the contract. The common law provides some guidance on this issue. If the employer breaches the contractor may be entitled to terminate the contract and claim damages. If the contractor breaches the contract, the employer may be entitled to terminate the contract and claim damages or seek specific performance. In conclusion, the successful implementation of a construction contract requires careful administration and compliance with the obligations set out in the contract. Employers and contractors must work together to ensure that the project progresses in accordance with the agreed terms. The Malaysian Standard Form of Contract provides a useful framework for setting out these obligations and for dealing with issues such as payment and variations. The common law also provides guidance on the consequences of default and termination. That concludes our discussion on implementing construction contracts, including the administration of the contracts and the obligations of the employer and contractor. We hope you found this information helpful and informative. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel to stay updated on the latest topics in construction law in Malaysia. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video.